Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and once again I'm bringing a new group to the channel. Today we are bringing in a group that's been requested by a few people. This is Jinjer. I believe this is a group that is fairly commonly reacted to. I have not come across them before. I do need to offer thanks to Megan Underwood and also Ikea? I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. Your YouTube name, at least. They're the two biggest proponents of this. I think, as far as I understand it, the kind of reactor entry level or entry song is Pisces. But having looked at that, it's only got a live session. And I still haven't quite decided yet whether live works with my format, and I'm still kind of enjoying going through videos, so I'm actually going to begin with Perennial. Now, Jinjer, I know relatively little about. I do know that they are a Ukrainian metalcore band. I did my 2 minutes of Wikipedia research. And they are made up of the singer Tetiana Shmylyuk. I apologize, by the way, I may well butcher these names. These are my best guesses. Guitarist Roman Ibram Khalilov. The bassist is Eugene Abdukhanov, and drummer is Vladislav Ulasevich. I know metalcore is a genre I have a cursory familiarity with, I guess. I know back in my days when I was looking for everything possible related to Dune, I came across the band Shai Hulud, who are a metalcore band, and they were kind of my entry. But you can also throw out Avenged Sevenfold, Trivium, Killswitch Engage, Atreyu, a bunch of other bands that were, had a much bigger profile. It was a genre I dipped my toe into and never really jumped in, so I'm going to be very intrigued to see what I think about it now. We were talking about, 15 odd years ago. And it's basically, for those who haven't come across metalcore before, it's what happens when you take a heavy metal band and a hardcore punk band, or like people who play that music, and smash it all together, and you come out with a metalcore band. And of course, since then, it has a bunch of derivatives as well. Because that's what music does, essentially. Forms of music collide together, create a new thing, and then more things are created out of that, and on we go. And it's amazing because that is the evolution of music. And of course, with the advent of digital technology and the ability to really, make music accessible to people, that increased no end. And there was a huge boom. This sort of came up in the 90s. In the underground scene, and then a huge boom in the 2000s with all the big name bands that started to kind of become a thing. Jinjer themselves, I don't know much about. I didn't do a crazy amount of research this time, just because I'm a little time constrained and wanted to make sure I got this recorded. So we're going to go in really not knowing a lot. I will say I'm always a huge fan of female-fronted metal bands of any genre. I don't know what it is. That's just a genre I took to. I think I came into it through Nightwish. And I cannot for the life of me remember what they were called, but there were a batch of CDs that were released back in the UK that were compilations, and it was just one song per band of about 25 bands of all female-fronted metal. And I got into a lot of different bands that way. So yeah, this is, we're touching on something I enjoy. This is also by Napalm Records, which is an imprint that I know relatively well. I, of course, now that I've said that, can't think of a single band that I know of that's on their roster, but I do know that I have a lot of Napalm Records albums in my CD collection, kind of hidden away in various places. Amberian Dawn is one of them. Just having a quick glance here to see who else I recognize, and my goodness, their label has increased in... Midnight Soul, I recognize. Their roster has increased tenfold since I was last on their website. Serenity, Serenia, these are bands I know. Tiamat, Xandria. Yeah, they have a very substantial presence right now. And if you're interested in studying out metal music and things like that, Napalm is a record label that you would not be doing bad things if you check them out. There's a lot of very cool stuff on there. Anyway, this is all very much not what I'm here for. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. The way this is going to work is I'm going to watch the video straight through from beginning to end, emote, comment over the top of it, but not interrupt. And then I will go back and watch it again from the beginning, interrupting, pausing, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can. If you're just here for the reaction, the first quarter or so of this video should be good for you. Please do like the video if you enjoy it, even if you just watch that reaction. It would be a huge boon to me, and even more so hitting that subscribe button. We're inching towards that 2,000 subscribers mark, and I would love to hit that before August if we can. Just a personal, arbitrary goal, but it would be really cool. Hit the notification bell to decide how often you get told I've posted videos, and if you'd care to, please do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel, and I would like to offer my thanks to both someone, I don't know who that is, and Janet Wright, both of whom bought me coffees in the last few days, and I am extremely grateful for your support. Thank you so much indeed. It's very, very kind of you. Sorry, cut for a frog in my throat, but I think that's enough waffling from me, so without any further delay, this is Jinjer performing Perennial. Ooh. Very atmospheric intro. Ooh. Okay, starting out with a statement. I like this.
Exhausted natural is so tragic and so suicidal. All spectacular tears will check out yourself. Death blows are slowly flowing to the top.
What a voice! Wow! Oh, this is nice. Oh, no, my video froze. We'll see that when we come back. Oh, her scream is so powerful. Oh, that was a cool shot. Yes. Oh, the contrast in the video all of a sudden. Wow. That's cool. Oh, I love this harmony. This is awesome. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Ooh. That didn't go where I thought it was going. Oh. This gorgeous harmony under the scream. Wow. That's a cool ending. I'm guessing that's just that. Oh! Wow! That's some strong stuff. My goodness. Everybody's pulling their weight in that, but her voice. That's extraordinary. The difference between the clarity and the purity of her singing voice, and then like there's such a powerful, strong, abrasive quality to that scream. That's woohoo! That's something. It always amazes me, like anyone who can do any of that kind of extraordinary, the metal scream is impressive in the first place. I can't do it. Well, I won't say I can't do it. I've tried and failed, let's put it that way. I was very, very sort of intrigued when I first heard it, but then to start hearing female voices do it and sound so potent. Angela Glossow, of course, of Arch Enemy being the big one that I was introduced to early on in my metal listening. But whew, Tatiana has an astonishing voice. That's incredible. I just want to look and see if there's any details about the video or anything like that. So this is the third single from the EP Micro. Came out in 2019. Okay. This was released January 10th, 2019. Tour details, of course. Director Shah Talifta. Fabulous job. I always feel like directing a music video must be such a specific skill set, because it's so very different, especially if you are intercutting with the band. It's a very different feel, and I think that what they did there was it was fantastic, because the band was incorporated into everything else that was going on through some of the B-roll that was put in there, even while you see them, playing in a studio setting. That was incredibly smart. Goodness, that is quite something. Let's go back and see what we can actually pull out of this. Oops. Where am I going? And I will do my best as well to sort of do what lyrical interpretation I can. It's hard the first few times you hear something like this to understand everything that's being sung, especially during screaming phrases. Sorry for the wobbling, by the way. I think there's a slight damage to the support of my monitor that my camera is mounted on, and I need to get a different mount for it because it's wobbling a bunch. My apologies for that. But yeah, it's hard the first few times you hear a song like this to grasp the intricacies of some of the lyrics, but we'll see what I can do. Boop. Napalm, of course. This I love. I think this very haunting, ethereal, almost calm-sounding guitar intro. It's not, it's completely at odds with what we're going to get from the song in a bit, but also then again it's setting us up for that lovely bridge section and some of the more slightly peaceful, melodic moments, and they're just going to get completely broken up by the scream. And it's just, this is such a great way to introduce. Also an interesting choice to open on black. The fact that we're not seeing anything right now, it lets you really focus in on the beginning music. What's being played? What's the harmony that we're setting up here for? There's something dum 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 dum. There's something hopeful about that pattern, which is a really, really interesting choice for the beginning of this. I just want to go back on that. Also, notice that it sounds... I'm going to get this again. Notice when it comes in just a second, it sounds like we're cutting in after the attack on that initial note. We're kind of coming in partway through. And that's so nice. We go from this lovely, sort of slightly hopeful chord, and we resolve straight down to a minor, which immediately it's a big tug on the heartstrings. That little combination there it's quite a powerful start, but it also sets this thing into a minor tonality quickly. But after this moment of sort of, we could go anywhere from there. We could go major, we could go minor. We could even go into a different key that's sort of atonal for the bass tonic of this. We don't. We go down to the tonic minor, and it's just this. It's such a lovely resolution to start this thing out with. I really, really like that. And that's so nice because we go up to the bum bum bum. And you half expect it to go back to the bum 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 bum, back down to there, but we drop back down again. And I really like this motion because it's just slightly unexpected. It's within the bounds of what could happen, but it wouldn't be the top of the list of, if I was saying, okay, what chord's going to come next? This would be 2 or 3. And I like the fact that we do that. We're not necessarily going to the most obvious place each time for this intro. And it keeps it's intriguing. It drags you in a little bit. Also, this cinematography is beautiful. Like this, I love the use of light here, where we have this very specific framing. We see the pole supporting, I guess this is stairs, not 100% sure, and then just these candles and the frame. It's beautiful. And this, you get a sense of desolation, like the comb just left there, the wax just not only spilled onto the candlestick, but also onto the table itself, dust. This is an old place. There's a lot of very strong scene setting going on in the first few seconds of this video, and I really, really like it.
This autumn feels like funeral to me, the longest song of grief, and not for what has passed, but for what shall last.
That's a lovely beginning. This autumn feels like a funeral to me, the longest song of grief, and not for what has passed, was it? But for what shall last. That's a lovely, lovely line, and it sets up. It's a fascinating beginning to this. I love the decision to have it as a monologue, not as a sung intro. It sets us up really, really nicely. It brings us in. So what is? Like I say, there's the music video element to this. You have the band, but you also have the story going on. And by having her speak the first few lines, it kind of ties those two together a little bit more. Because the first thing we hear isn't full performance. It's an underscored monologue. It's a... underscoring, by the way, I'm sure you've heard it before, but for anyone who doesn't know, underscoring is where music is played underneath a bit of speech. And the choice to do that as the intro kind of gels together the music and the sort of performance, the acting performance side of it, really, really nicely. It's a great choice. And then, of course, we get this great eye-open moment coming up right here. That's so nice as well, that setup. we come into this, we've got these lovely chords, but it's actually a very nice harmony that they're playing there, but it immediately comes in with the punch. There's no intro, there's not even a drum fill, yeah, there's one hit. There's a one-hit upbeat and boom, we're straight in. There's no punches pulled. And this is what I like about this song. It's really interesting to me, is it handbrake turns around corners. Doesn't go around slowly. It's just like, we're in the next section, poof, tone change. And I really, really like that. And they're setting that up straight from the get-go. Also a great choice, we have this lovely lighting on this image right here, where it's only lighting what we absolutely need to see. We can't see all the chunk of wall behind. I mean, it's there, you can see it if you look close enough, but it's not highlighted, and it doesn't need to be. We don't need to see that. We do need to see her on the bed, of course, but also just seeing the corner of this trunk on the right-hand side of the screen, the window looking kind of dilapidated, everything's run down and looks a little damaged and scratched and what have you, and it's perfect scene setting for this, and I really like that that's how they chose to go about it. And then
What shall last?
that's, if I can get a cleaner, I probably can't.
What shall last?
Yeah, so we get shots like this where we can't see the entire person. What we're seeing is head, hands, instrument. And so the band is being lit the same way as the video that we just came out of. And that's what ties them in as well. It works together with the performance and the elements of music versus speech and so on and so forth. It all works together to make this so cohesive, and I really like that as a start. And then the colouring that's been used here, I don't know what colour these instruments are, but looking at this right now, it looks like that same kind of bare wood. It looks, the guitar, there's obviously some motion blur here, even on a fairly still shot. It's hard to see exactly, but the way it's been lit makes it look like it's a little bit run down. We're seeing those hard shadows of the strings over by the tuning pegs up on the head of the guitar, things like that. And there's something about it. There's something about the way that's been done. It just makes it look like it's a part of the same setting as the video, and that's such a smart decision. That's so nice too. Sorry, I was going to talk about something else, but there we have, I don't know if this is the same one, but the window frame. You can just see the outline of the window frame here, so we're also seeing the band through the window, which is a device that has been set up in the main video. The other thing I love is the flurry of action. Everything is moving. Even Tatiana, who is not singing at this point, she's got the hair going, the head movement. There's so much happening all at once. And that's what I'm talking about with that complete change of direction from the very peaceful and gentle introduction. It's a lovely counterpoint. Okay, actually, I do want to take a second here and just say that Vladislav is an outrageously good drummer. Like, this is some serious... Throughout this song, I was picking up on that while I was watching it through the first time as well. The work he does on this song is incredible. Everybody is. All four of them are. And I think it's very easy to focus on Tatiana, especially if you're not used to hearing female metal screamers. It's very easy to focus on her because her voice is extraordinary, but so is the work that's going on the drums right now. This is truly fantastic. It's so clean. And this is a great choice. We're obviously, there's a lot of frenetic cuts from band member to band member through this. That makes sense, but here we get this very in shadow, momentary glimpse of Tatiana as she starts to scream. And then in a second, we're just going to cut straight away from that. We don't hold on it at all. We go back to the story and see what the girl in the story is doing. But I love that you get that hint And if you didn't know the band and you were only sort of, you weren't studying the video in any way, you'd see that and you wouldn't believe it was her screaming. You'd think it was somebody else. But they give you that setup of, yeah, this is who's doing this. Great editing choice there. Oh, and how she like blasts, like she comes from that shadow, and just for a split second, you get her so much more clearly lit in the face, and then the cutaway. I'm getting small amounts of words here, and it's obviously a very, it's a dramatic song here. I heard at the end of that something spectacular. I'm not going to be able to pick I'm not great at deciphering screaming without 4 or 5 listens to something, which of course is not how I do my videos here. So I apologize that I might miss some of the lyrical nuance. But there is clarity. She is singing. She's got very, very good enunciation. The fact that I'm even able to pick up words on a second listen says a lot for how well she's enunciating and getting this across clearly. I'm also just generally bad at picking up vocals the first few times I listen to a song anyway. That's me. Yeah.
The exhausted nature is so tragic and so suicidal. Oh, spectacular tears will check out yourself. Death blows are slowly crawling to the toes. Merciless is falling off her head.
This is I love how we're cutting between the two. There seems to be something, even as her movement, she's now moving, which is more than we got from her at the beginning of the video where she's just lying down. But the fact that she's picking up a little bit of motion, but the band still has this furious motion going on. It's such a great contrast between these two, this very careful step. And if I'm assuming it's this character who is being, talking about, potentially taking her life, and the precision with everything that she's doing. Like, it's such a measured step. There's something very, very considered about all of this, and I really, really like the way this has been put together. Oh, that shift there from the frantic, just bringing everything back rhythmically a little bit. Now we've got a bit of a slower pace as Tatiana goes into the singing. Beautiful quality to her voice. I love this little touch here where that you can see the breath coming out of her mouth as she's singing. Obviously a little cooler in the studio, I would guess. That's really, really nice. This has been so well filmed, and I'm really happy about that because it's a great song, and I love that it has such a potent video to go with it. There's lovely, lovely chords going on here. That chord that's being held under breasts right there. Like, there's so many places you can go from here. The writing of this is great because it gives them the opportunity to do different things and to kind of move where the song wants to go rather than being constrained to some kind of, they open up with their final chords of each line to go to multiple places rather than being stuck down a single route. It's really, really nice. And of course you can go anywhere you want, but it sounds very, very natural the way that they've sort of written the harmonies for this. This is so nice. I love what they're doing with the rhythm here because you've got this very kind of da 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 da. It's very kind of consistent rhythm, and then on this third line you get this boom da 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 da, and it's a complete change. You've gone from a very wordy line to a much more compressed line in terms of the number of syllables, but you still, that offbeat it's jarring having it so syncopated, and it keeps the momentum going, even though there's a pullback in the amount of sort of the pacing of the words that are coming out. That's great. I like that a lot. I managed to get a little bit of, I'm getting more of the lyrics in the song sections as well, and I love that. I think to see a flight, was it? And then send us farewell. And then the next line, goodbye, in the full scream. I love that. That's a great transition right there. Fantastic. Right back into the motion. And now we've gone from the quiet of the house to this much more. We're going to get throughout the rest of this section a lot more kind of frenetic, desperate action in this outdoor scene, while it's this sort of darker sort of tone over the image here before we turn to the white. And that's just a really, really great transition to go into this fast, even though it's still slow. It's not like she's there going, hack, 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 hack with this pick. It's still a measured motion, but it's much more desperate than it was in the house. And so picking us back up again with this awesome scream right here is brilliant. And there, even though her motion is that deliberate heavy pick, we get those great edited cuts to keep it moving forward. And this is so good. That's the thing with a video like this, especially where the song has such a rapid drum rhythm and, these very heavy and powerful guitar chords and bass notes and things like that, pushing it forward with the scream as well. You need the video to match that. And the way they've edited this feels very natural given the context of the song and what we're seeing happen on screen as well. Really, really well done. Interesting. That's where it froze last time. Is that just a glitch in the video? Or is that a deliberate choice? I'm really fascinated by this now. I wasn't expecting it to freeze again. I thought that was YouTube just being rubbish on the reaction. But if this is actually a deliberate choice, that look... This is either a really fascinating coincidence or it's a really cool choice in the video to go from that cut, and then freeze, but it's not even freezing with the pickaxe up, ready to bring it back down again. It's freezing in that kind of worn out drag, pulling at the thing, the exertion that's there, the kind of the bent nature of the body. Nothing about this looks comfortable, which it shouldn't, right? That's not what this song is about. That's not what this video is about. And this right here as a freeze frame is really cool. Oh, I got the lyric. Goodbye, may we see each other next time. Which is so interesting because in the idea, based on what we've had so far in the song, is there going to be a next time? Interesting. And I love that we have the band outside now, so you get that drummer. It's a small thing, but having the snow bouncing off the drums and things like that, it just adds a bit of dynamism to the video, but it also ties them even more, yet again, into what's going on. They're inside the house, she's inside the house. They're outside in the snow, she's outside in the snow. They're kind of always there. The sort of Greek chorus almost to what's going on stage. It's great. These are such cool visuals. This like playing from under the earth, the undead kind of thing that's going on here. That's awesome. It's not what you expect. I also love the fact that it's upside down. Like, is it almost representative of her drilling through the earth into the space that she's going to occupy or something like that? I'm not 100% sure. But it's like it's the hand reaching through the underworld reaching out to grab whatever it happens to be. But the way that they've chosen to invert it, that's a fascinating decision. It's also just a really cool visual. And of course, we're seeing the guitar in the orientation, or the bass, rather, in this case, in the orientation that we would be seeing it if we were watching, my brain is gone, Eugene. If we were watching Eugene play it, this would be, right now, this would be how he'd be holding it. So it's also maintaining the orientation of the guitar while spinning the world upside down. Really cool. That's a powerful line, isn't it? Now fly, today you reached the point of no return. It's very dark. This is an incredibly dark song, of course. But I love that we get that lyric as she I flings the spade aside and just collapses down. There's something very visceral about what's happening in the video right now. And yet it's kind of being, even as she's gone from digging and the frenetic digging over the top of that very powerful rhythm that we were having, now to this kind of, it's desperate the way she's kind of dragging at it, but there's something more visceral and more animalistic about ripping at the ground with your hands. And yet we've gone back into this more sedate kind of chorus figure that's happening right now, rather than, the frenetic stuff we were having before. The choice of where the counterpoint between the visual and the music and where it gels more is extraordinary. Ooh, interesting. What am I getting out of this? Then die, tomorrow I will meet you with your cells restored. And now as on restored, we cut suddenly to this, now everything is bright and the snow looks less, mangled and kind of mixed in with the earth. Her hands, there's no, you'd sort of expect her fingers and fingernails to be damaged from all the clawing. You can see a little bit of dirt marks on it, but everything looks cleaner than it did a second ago. This is fascinating. Oh, I love what is going on right now. You've got this much more pulled back drum thing, this dung like it's much more hi-hats, less actual drum hits. It's more of a kind of agitation in the background than this kind of very punchy, powerful rhythm that we've had so far. And it's allowing the bass and the guitar to hit these incredible harmonies. Like that just having that there, bum, 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 bum. Lovely, lovely dominant seventh. Very classic, going from Dom 7 back down to a tonic. Very, very common progression there. But having that seventh at the top, the bow, like if you think we're a dum, there's our tonic, bum, da-da-da is the dominant up there, and then bum is the minor seventh of that dominant, hence dominant seventh chord. But hitting that right at the top, it's the passing note that's going to get us back down to the tonic key that we were just in, but it's also the least sure of the four notes in that chord. Bum, 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 bum. There's our triad. Bum, 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 bum. There's our open fifth. That's our rock. Bum is setting our tonality. We're saying this is a major, the dominant major. And then bum at the top of it. It wants to go somewhere. It either wants to go bum, bum or bum, bum. It needs to finish. Everything else is a chord, and leaving that one note hit so hard at the top of that is a lovely note to leave ringing out. And the fact they've chosen to kind of arrange this that way, finish that up there. You could easily do that. You could finish on the fifth or on the third and just arrange the chords slightly differently. And I love that they've done it this way. It's a very kind of expectant feeling. And I don't know why that chord hit me as strongly as it did, but it's just, oh, that one, I feel that. I think also because they finish their bum, 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 they finish on the tonic. So we're on the most powerful note we could be in that chord. And then we finish on the weakest one of the next one. This is beautiful. I'm enraptured watching this gentle movement, the sort of flowing of the hands, the slow unfurling of the spine. It's extraordinary. And the choice of having, she's got this white embroidered, beautiful neck piece, but then the choice of having that off-white kind of creamy beige dress against the pure white of the snow. It's such a simple thing to do. To make her stand out and blend in all at the same time. Of course, the black hair and her face and skin stand out perfectly well on their own. But the costuming here it's been really delicately chosen, I think, to fit in really, really well with this winter scene, and I love it. Excuse me. That's an interesting concept, isn't it? Mass destruction in the name of total reconstruction. You've got to knock something down before you can build it back up again. That's a really cool idea, and I love that the whole way through this we've seen this person building back up and actually kind of, reforming into this clarity. This is the first time, I think. Yeah, like we see her looking down, but even right here, this is the first time we see her face clearly. It's extraordinary. I really, really like the way that this has been filmed. This discovery again of the self, the hands just kind of drifting down her body and then out. Like, you get this sense of fascination and wonder and rediscovery, and it's really cool. I really like what's going on here. And I love right now, not only has all the instrumentation pulled back, and you've got these lovely, well-harmonized chords and this kind of gentle rhythm in the drums, but Tatiana's singing more quietly as well, a bit more reservation in the voice. It's beautiful what's going on here. I just want to go back on this section, actually. There we go. Near enough. Lovely. Really nice.
My biggest source of confusion.
That's nice too. My biggest source of confusion as the camera is kind of waving around in the air a little bit. Everything's a bit blurred. We can't focus. Really nice. And yet at the same time, you get the sense that this character is happy even in the confusion, as she's kind of dancing around in the snow. This is really cool. This is fascinating. This sense of there's something like almost like a childish joyousness about the way she's dancing through the snow, and yet over the top of it, no, we're not dead. No, we're not dead. It's not celebratory. The chords that have been chosen to be sung there are not celebratory chords. It's kind of more of a statement of state. It's not even we're alive. We're not dead. It's a really interesting choice.
We found breathless paradise. No, we're not dead. No, we're not dead. Just enjoying coma.
Oh, the wail in the voice as she's doing. It's got this lovely. It's got a natural rise and fall. And so it allows for. There's so much emotion that she's pouring into her voice at that point. And I love that we get a gentle uptick of the band. They're not back to full force yet. And then this kind of crash cuts between back in the sort of the darkness raking through the soil and like sort of swirling around and enjoying the cold air and being in the snow. It's such a kind of contrast between the two.
Just enjoying coma.
And those chords there, what's happening? That's not what you expect at all. And I love that we've had the expectation. So let me jump back on that one more time. Like, that's perfectly natural. We've had this bum, 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 and with very typical chords over the top of them. And so the expectation is we're probably going to get another one of those. Maybe we finish on a different chord, but it's not going to veer off piste, and it does. Like, this is great. And it's not till there we settle back on the dominant. Oh, that whole kind of cycle of chords we just went through there. There's dissonance in there. They're uncomfortable. There's the wail that began as like this sort of is now this kind of uncomfortable. Like it's getting it. The clashing is setting it on edge. It's more you know, the tone, the nature of the sound. The nature of the way the sound is speaking out is changing because of how dissonant it's become. And then finally, as it drops down, we settle back onto the da, or it's the da, da. We settle onto the second, right? And then, yeah. And that's so nice. We land, right there. 1, 2, 2. We actually find our way back to 1, but we don't sit there. We come back up again and enter into that da. And that tells us, okay, we're about to go into our resolution here. But I love that we actually find the way back down and then leave again. Simple thing, you know, perfectly common, but it's so impactful at this point. Okay, so I'm hearing will rise to live again. Like it's this same thing. It's destruction for reconstruction. You've got to knock something down, it will come back again anew. This sort of rebirth idea. It's really, really potent, and I love the mixture of hope and sorrow and unpleasantness and almost cuteness, but discomforting cuteness that we go through in the visuals and in the lyrics and in the vocal tones and in the harmony that the band is presenting. Like, everything's working together so well in this. I cannot get over the quality in that scream. It's so well enunciated and there is so much in there. That's great. She's fantastic at that. And now again, change of quality in the scream from it's a wider sound. And it's a brighter sound, but it's still a scream. Total shift in that. Like, the versatility in Tatiana's voice is melting my brain right now. This is crazy. Oh, poetry of youth. So it's the redesigning of a young person, like the recreation, which we do as young people. We go through reconstruction of the self on a very regular basis. We're so influenced by the people around us, the media that we consume. Like the rediscovery is extraordinary. Like I don't know, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you who was responsible. It was Nightwish. But I could not tell you the moment that I went from being somebody who was all about classical music, Gilbert and Sullivan, opera, a little bit of musical theatre, and then overnight I was listening to metal. And I don't really... I know who helped me find it, and I know the bands that really got me into it. But it was a rebirth. And we do. The poetry of youth being part of this rebirth cycle is such an interesting concept. It's a very dark take on the video. And the idea at the beginning of taking one's own life in order to restore, rather than just being like a metaphorical rebirth, is very, very potent. But I love the sequence that we're going through to get there. It's great. And that too, that abrupt ending, she falls backwards, we see the hands disappearing into darkness, the one hand disappears back into the ground, poof, cut to black. And thus the cycle continues. Wow! This is great! I really enjoy it. Thank you to Megan and I'm gonna... Ikaya? I have no idea, I'm so sorry. And anybody else who's mentioned Jinjer to me. I'm so glad I found these guys. This is a wonderful performance. I'm looking forward to seeing more of their stuff too. There's so much in this. It's a great video. What skill these four have. I mean, Tatiana's blowing my mind right now with her skill, but also, Vladislav's drumming is superb. Like, the cleanliness of all of that. It was tight, it was fast, but also I feel like the strength of each strike was so measured. Of course, that's a drummer's talent, is to know, when to hit what to hit what with, and how hard to hit it. There's way more to it than that. But all of those things have such an impact on the sound that we have. Someone who's really railing on a snare drum is going to make a very different sound to someone who's there and is just kind of dum. As opposed to someone who's and has a big wind up and a hit. You'll get a different tone out of that drum. Where you hit the drum, different tone. The speed even that you hit does the stick around for a second? Do we get a little bit of a roll on the end of it? There's so many different things that go into drumming, and I am not a drummer. I have played drums, I have drummed, I've even got drums on a recording of a piece of music, actually. Not commercially available. But I have done it, so I have some idea of the mechanisms that go behind it, and I can tell the control that is going into what Vladislav is doing there. It's astonishing. And the work, the balance and the work between Eugene and Roman is beautiful, because there's so much richness in the harmony in that song. I love what they've done with it. Some of the chords that they struck along the way there, they were beautiful, they were discomforting, they were dissonant, they were clean, they were whatever it was they were hitting at the time. The work between those four, that was tight, and that was a really, really well-written piece of music. Grats to them. I really enjoyed that. We'll definitely be checking more Jinjer out at some point in time. That's going to be all I have time for today, so I am going to disappear for now. Please do like the video if you enjoyed this. I hope I brought a new take on, a new perspective maybe on something to you. Something you hadn't heard before. Even the band, if you hadn't heard them before. That would be great. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to decide how often you hear about my videos going live. And if you would care to, do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts. Please do comment below, by the way, and let me know who the songwriter is or who the songwriters are for Jinjer. That's one thing I didn't catch on the page, and I did a cursory glance. I'm just going to look right now in case it's something glaringly obvious. Jinjer songwriter. No, it doesn't show. It doesn't have songwriter anywhere. Would love to know who it is because they did a fantastic job with this. And I will let me know if you would like to hear more metal on the channel. I have at least one, probably more Nightwish songs I would like to bring on here. I still have my core audience of acapella, but I like to mix it up a bit. Probably be a Sabaton song coming fairly soon. Another one of those. I've very much enjoyed my time with them. Let me know what you'd like to hear. I've got all kinds of ideas bouncing around in my head for what I'm going to do for the next few months, and would love your input in case you're interested. I can't guarantee that I will, my current list is over 400 songs long. The list of recommendations I've been given. And I think only 3 of those songs on that list came from me personally. Everything else has come from recommendations. So, as I'm sure that tells you, I have a lot on my plate. So, I don't know when I'm going to get to anything, other than the fact that I try to cycle through the a cappella groups, which are kind of the core beginning of this channel. But where it goes as it grows, who's to say? But thank you very much for being with me on this journey, and thank you for checking out this video with me as well. I really, really appreciate it. Have an absolutely amazing 3:07 a.m. If you happen to be watching this, then hopefully I got you. But no, have a good afternoon, morning, tea time. I don't know. What other times are there? Break time at school? No, that's probably not the people who are listening to this video. I don't know. What other times are there? Second breakfast again. Why not? I could do with second breakfast. I'm rambling now. But have a very good time. Take care. Thank you so much once again for watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.